Hello everyone, hi everybody. Thank you for attending tonight our first Webmardi of 2022. I'm so happy to launch this first Webmardi. So let's get started. So tonight, the agenda is pretty short, but it's pretty interesting too. We have a quick intro. This is what we are doing right now. We'll present you the Webmardi and the team, our sponsors, obviously, and then I will introduce you Monika. After the talk, we will ask some questions to Monika, your questions. So don't be afraid to ask your question inside the talk, inside the chat. We will gather your questions and we'll ask them for you to Monika. After that, we will finish the Webmardi of tonight with the what's next. So we will announce the next Webmardi and what's up for this year. Thank you for all the benevolent of Webmardi, Camille, Nelson, Daniela, Justine, and Geoffroy. Without them, we could not achieve what we do for so many years. So thank you to all of you people. You're awesome. Thank you to our gold sponsor for 2022. Thank you to Leap and thank you to Jollycode. Again, without them, we could not do any Webmardi. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to our bronze sponsors also, the CPNV, it's a school in the North Vaudois, I don't know. Anyway, thank you to the CPNV. Thank you to our partner, JetBrains, Infomaniac, and Smashing Magazine too. And well, I think I talk enough for myself, so I will introduce Monika to you. Hi, Monika. How are you?
Hi, Kevin. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Thank you for being here with us tonight. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Thank you for your talk, the first one, and it's pretty soon, just right after your holidays. Thank you very much for that. I think I talk enough for myself, so I will let you start your talk. So I hope everybody will enjoy this talk and see you during the interview.
All right, thank you so much, Kevin, for this introduction, and hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm really happy to see all of you today, and I wanted to thank you for joining this meetup, this Webmardi meetup, and also I'm glad I have this opportunity to tell you a little bit about product marketing, what it is, and how to promote products and features to technical audiences. I hope you will find it useful. So just a quick introduction about me. My name is Monika Ambrozowicz. I am a product marketing manager at Forest Admin. It's a French startup that offers back office internal tools in a software as a service model. I live next to Geneva and next to CERN. As you can see in the picture, I couldn't resist. And I am from Poland originally, and I used to work in Swiss and Polish startups. And one thing to mention, I have also made a transition from general marketing, more from content marketing as well, to product marketing. Like quite a lot of my friends and colleagues from the industry, it's not unusual. And I'm really excited about this role, and I hope that after this presentation, you will understand why. So in this presentation, I will tell you what product marketing is and what makes it different from general marketing or from other marketing activities. I will explain you the place of product marketing in a typical technology company, what are the responsibilities of product marketing managers, including product launches, positioning, and messaging. And finally, I will tell you how to work with developers and technical audiences. And I will also share with you some resources because, at least as far as I know, no university can prepare you for becoming a product marketer. But luckily, there are many high-quality online courses, podcasts, books, and communities. And as Kevin said, if you have any questions, please ask them in comments because I won't be able to answer them now, but we will have enough time after the presentation. So let's get started. Product marketing is not a novelty. Believe me, technology companies have been hiring product marketers for many years. However, I can see that interest in this role is growing, and it is not only my opinion. According to Product Marketing Alliance, the world's largest community for PMMs, the recruiting for this role has increased 3 times in last year alone. So it is really growing. And there are many definitions of product marketing, but I like the simplest one, and I will give you that. Basically, product marketing promotes products and features to an organization's target audience. However, and I would say ideally, product marketing has also significant impact on how the target audience perceives the product by creating product positioning statements and having an impact on the messaging. And because product marketers are so close to the product, they usually understand the technical audiences better than other marketers in the company. And now let's discuss the place of product marketing in an organization. And I would say this is one of the most cross-functional roles in companies. In fact, and I will really insist on that, product marketers cannot do their jobs properly without cooperating with product, sales, and marketing. I have found this chart online. This is a pretty popular one, but I would add one more, which is one more piece, one more circle, which is customer support. Because this is the department that is usually the closest to users, and quite often they have the best understanding of the product and the target audience. So the cooperation between product marketing and customer support is very important. However, I think the relationship between product management and product marketing may be the most fundamental, because product marketing bridges the gap between traditional marketing and product management. Basically, product managers are evangelists of the product within the organization, and product marketing managers outside of it. And the image that you can see, I find it very funny, but it doesn't really it doesn't illustrate my experience. I've been working with amazing product managers. However, I know that in companies that hire a product marketer for the first time, or with teams where product managers may not be used to working with marketing, or they are junior, or whatever reasons, they may not may not be used to work with marketing. That's why the situation, like on the question, theoretically can happen. But as I said, this is not my experience, and I really believe that once this relationship is established, it is always a very, very fruitful one. And the same can be told about sales. It is another very important relationship in the company. Well, in general, it is never good if sales and marketing work in silos. But when this is not the case, and it shouldn't be, typically it is a product marketing manager who works with sales more than other marketers. And that's because a significant part of the product marketer role involves what is called a sales enablement. And as product marketers are the closest to the product and the target audience, they should support salespeople to make sure everyone is aligned about what the product has to offer, what pain points does it solve, etc. Even what language should be used to reach the target audience. This is something very important for sales. But it goes both ways, because as product marketers are the closest to product, salespeople are the closest to prospects and new clients. So they can give priceless feedback about the messaging and the marketing materials that product marketers provide. And especially if there is a situation in the company that salespeople ignore what product marketers provide because they prefer other wording, they prefer other presentation decks, because they work better, maybe for them, it means there is a problem in the company that needs to be addressed. And finally, product marketing and marketing. And I would say this one can be even the trickiest relationship because product marketers are expected not only to be able to cooperate with other marketing professionals, but they are also expected to know the trade themselves. Well, after all, there is the word marketing in the title, right? And here, usually, the biggest, what makes the biggest difference is and the difference that shapes the role of a product marketer in a company is the size, maybe maturity of the organization as well. Because in a small startup, a product marketing manager can be expected to manage social media, understand the SEO, run paid ads, write various types of content, basically be involved in many other marketing activities. And in big organizations, on the other hand, where each marketing activity is specialized, product marketers are supposed to focus on positioning, messaging, and launches, and to cooperate with other marketers to make sure they use the proper messaging on the blog, on social media, or in ads. And speaking of responsibilities, I will now explain those most important, most typical to product marketing in detail. Let's start with launches. In fact, any product launch is a marketing moment. It is a moment when you take a new product, feature, or a group of features to the market. And I'm not sure how many of you come from the software as a service B2B industry, but if you do, I'm sure you know that such companies release new features and improvements even several times per week. And the general rule is to communicate all of them, because users shouldn't be surprised with new features or changes in the UI. However, the thing is, some releases require more attention than the others. For example, minor releases, especially if there is no chance to confuse users or they don't make a big impact, sometimes they just deserve a mention in the public release note. That's it. When the release has some impact, is more visible, more important, it needs to be communicated in the newsletter with an in-app notification, even possibly on social media. And finally, there are big releases, especially those that not only affect users, but that they make a potential to improve the revenue, to bring new users. They require a well-planned and complex launch. And it can include a special newsletter, video ads, a webinar, a bigger campaign in social media, even the product hunt campaign. Literally, the sky's the limit here. And it is a big topic that I cannot cover entirely right now. But if you are interested in that, I recommend reading the guide to product launches from AppQs. You will get a link in the comments, and it is for free. It is available to everyone. So if you have any if you release any software, or if you work with product marketing, I really recommend reading it. And one last thing about the launches, I think that product launches, especially the major ones, they really clearly show how cross-functional the role of product marketing manager is. Because I really cannot imagine a successful launch without smooth cooperation between marketing, product, and sales, but also customer support, designers, executives. For example, even today at Forest Admin, we had a significant launch which was announcing the new UI. So something that clearly affects users, something users shouldn't be surprised about. So it was a huge teamwork, and many people were involved. So the work like that is never just a marketing work. That's it about launches so far. So now I would like to move to product positioning, which is super important. And the truth is actually exactly the same what I told about the importance of working with other team members on product launches. It is equally important about positioning, because even if it is theoretically the main responsibility of product marketing, other teams have to be involved, and even, or I would say especially the executives who also who have a lot to say about that. Just to give you a definition, product messaging is the message your product sends to potential customers. And sounds simple, right? Well, maybe it does, but getting the right message out there in the right way can be difficult. But luckily, I have good news to all new product marketers. There are templates and good examples to follow. Just one thing which is important to understand is the difference between the positioning and messaging. I will explain you the messaging in detail a bit later, but just to stress on that right now, positioning comes first. It is meant for internal teams to really understand where the company is moving. Messaging is usually built, like not usually, it is built on top of the positioning, and it is meant for external communication. And what is also pretty important here is that sometimes things like the fact that things like long sales cycles, low close rates, high customer churn, things that are usually linked to sales problem, maybe product problem, they're quite often actually a product marketing problem, specifically the positioning problem. But luckily, there are ways to figure it out. And I put together five fundamental components of effective positioning. And if you can see, first of all, which is super important, is realizing the competitive alternatives. Basically, what your customers would do if your solution didn't exist. And I really highly recommend, if you have companies or if you work in, I mean, assuming you do, most of you do, ask yourself this question: what would your customers do if your business just ceased to exist? Because just to give you an example, imagine you have a very simple, light CRM. If your stop exists, what would your customers do? Would they just go to a competitor, just migrate to another CRM? Or maybe because it's light and simple, maybe they would just use the spreadsheet. That's possible. So asking this question, in fact, can turn the entire marketing strategy upside down, because maybe you should advertise your business to people who are looking for kind of power spreadsheet and not a CRM. So yeah, answering this question sometimes can be pretty surprising. Then the market category, the one you describe yourself as being part of, to help customers understand your value. It can be a CRM or an admin panel, marketing automation software. There are plenty. Unique attributes. What do you have your customer or your competitors lack? For example, I've mentioned an admin panel. It can be the one that is designed to scale and that work equally well with small and massive projects. And what is important here is to have already some corporate big clients who can prove that. Then what is also important in positioning are target market characteristics. Especially small companies really cannot make mistakes here. And finally, the value, because users don't care about features. They care about how features are going to solve their problems, their pain points. And all these companies can be more or less directly found in the product messaging statement formula that you can see below. And please write it down. I'm pretty sure you will need it sooner or later. And you would also be surprised how many well-known huge companies are using the same formula. The positioning statements quite often look the same, and there is nothing wrong with that. Because everyone needs to identify who your target customer is. What are their needs? What is your product? In which category does it fit? To which category does it fit? and the key benefits that it offers. And finally, what differentiates you from the competitors. It is also super crucial. And here I've gathered two examples of obviously very well-known brands like Apple and Amazon. And you can see all these components here. We have target market characteristics. Apple for individuals who want the best. Amazon consumers who want best personal computers or mobile devices. Amazon consumers who want to purchase a wide range of products, etc. We have market category, personal computers or mobile devices, one-stop online shopping site. We have a value. Apple leads the technology with the most innovative products. Amazon offers a wide range of products online with quick delivery, and so on. If you Google positioning statement, you will find a lot similar to this one. And now let's move to product messaging. As I've already told you, product messaging is the third fundamental responsibility of a product marketing manager. It is secondary to product positioning, but equally important because it really makes a massive impact on how customers perceive the product. It communicates its value and provides strategic guidance to other teams. But truth to be told, many product managers and even junior product marketers, they fall into trap of just listening the features and expecting users to be excited about them. And just like you can see in this picture, it's actually a screenshot. I took the screenshot of a LinkedIn post that just appeared on my LinkedIn wall, actually exactly when I was working on this presentation. And still, I find it funny, but a bit unfair. And because, of course, not all startups and tech marketers do that. Also, I think that maybe this brand manager is not aware of the product marketing manager role. But anyway, it is funny. There is some truth in that. And it is super important to remember users don't care about features. And also, they usually don't care at all about technical details, unless your users, your target audience consists of developers. They do, of course. But like regular people, they don't care. What they care about is how the feature is going to solve their issue or make their experience better. That's it. And again, I know it sounds easy and obvious, but it isn't. And messaging is not a piece of cake, but there are formulas again and good examples to follow, and some steps also to follow. And first of all, every product marketing manager needs to do their homework, make sure they understand the core value of the product, the market, buyer personas. Good messaging brings it all together and it focuses on the benefits. I cannot stress it more. And again, I also have a template for you. Here is the one that is widely used across the software industry. And I also highly recommend writing it down. It is simple, but you have to make sure that users, their pain points, market differentiators, and the industry relevance are well identified. Always ask sales and customer support for feedback. Even if you think you know best, you know everything, their feedback can be really gold. And yes, we are slowly approaching the end. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about is developer marketing. It is not the same as product marketing, but both quite often go side by side. And that's because a significant part of the B2B software is targeted to developers. And even if they are not always the end users, because the software can be used by sales or customer support, it is usually developers have to set it up. They have to maintain it, even in a way be responsible for that. And it means that they have to like it, they have to trust it, they have to understand how does it work. And so first of all, if you want to make a good impression from start, let them do their job and try it. Live demos, free trials, they are always appreciated. And please don't make them book a demo with sales instead of letting them play around. I think no one likes it, not just developers, but for this audience, it's particularly important. And yes, content is king always for this audience as well. Developers appreciate useful blog posts, tutorials, guides, comparison articles, content, also videos, of course. It doesn't have to be written content. Everything from the top to the bottom of the funnel. And because we are slowly running out of time, so I won't tell you about marketing funnels in details, but feel free to ask a question about them in the Q&A if you're interested, if you would like to learn more. And I've also mentioned the ads and this SEO because ads, when done well, they can be highly effective. And by ads, I mean really different ads: Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, even Stack Overflow, or some other placements that are targeted especially for developers. There are ads like that. And without the good SEO, your content won't be found by the target audience. That's the issue. You may write excellent content, and you may and you should distribute it on social media, on services like Medium or Dev2 or Hacker News, but still the SEO is the fundament of content strategy for developers. And that's it. I hope now you have a clear idea what product marketing is and how does the role of a product marketing manager look like. I would just like to present 5 key takeaways I would really like you to remember after this meetup. First of all, product marketing is one of the most cross-functional roles in a technology company. I will insist on that again. Product marketers cannot do their job properly without a close, fruitful cooperation with product, sales, customer support, and marketing, but quite often also designers, executives, and other members of the team. Then product marketers need to understand the product, the target audience, and to possess general marketing skills, especially those related to content marketing. Usually, the smaller company, the more typical marketing skills they need to have, like content, social media, ads, and so on. Then product launches, they need to be prioritized. Not every release deserves a launch. Not every launch deserves the same buzz. Product positioning is written for internal teams. Messaging is meant for external teams. And finally, promoting products and features to technical audiences require high-quality ungated content. By ungated, I mean that it is open, available, like an article, that you don't have to pay or provide your email address or fill a form. Live demos, free trials. Don't force developers to talk to sales before letting them try the product. And as I've mentioned already, no university can prepare students to become product marketers, as far as I know at least. But there are very good books, online communities, podcasts, online courses with certification. They can help you a lot. And I highly recommend checking them up if you would like to become a product marketer or hire one. And actually, there is one thing I forgot, because when I mentioned product positioning and advertising products to technical audience, I wanted to tell you about 2 books and also give you links in the comment. So maybe I can show them to you now. So actually, my part of the presentation about product positioning was highly based on this book, just called Obviously Awesome, from April Dunford. I highly recommend checking it. And I think the best book about developer marketing, about promoting products to technical audience, is this one. Developer Marketing Does Not Exist. You will also get a link to this book in the comment. And that's really it. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask either now in the Q&A or later. And also feel free to reach out or invite me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Monika. Thank you for your talk. It was really inspiring, really interesting also. I will leave just the slide a few moments so people can take your name and Twitter link in your email address. We will share all the slides people on Twitters, and Monika will also share it, I'm pretty sure, and so on the Webmardi, so we will retweet it also. We have some questions for you, Monika, tonight. I will show them on screen right now. The first one, is it quite clear the technique to position a product message for a standard physical product? What about a piece of design or even a piece of art like a painting?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Super interesting. But in fact, I think it can work as well. I mean, typically the positioning statement is about the product. Can be physical, because, for example, the book that I've shown you before, for example, it gives an example of a small restaurant. It doesn't have to be just software, but I can imagine. But because positioning is all about understanding the audience deeply, and also the place of the product or piece of art in the target market. So I think the same can be said, because I'm sorry, I'm not an expert in selling art, but I can imagine that there may be an audience that is maybe more buy arts in traditional gallery, but maybe there are people who are looking for art on Instagram. That's highly possible.
Yeah,
So
because,
thinking like about that for sure can work.
Still, if people have more questions when we ask questions, feel free to just add a complimentary question on the chat. I will ask them, obviously. The next one question, should we really consider product marketing as a fundamentally different from traditional marketing, or simply the natural evolution of marketing science?
I think it is quite different, and I really learned it myself when I transitioned. What I think is super important, although actually what I wanted to say is super important for product marketers to know the craft of traditional marketing. But actually, to be honest, I know a few product marketers who transitioned from developers or product managers, and they're amazing. They just had to learn some marketing on the way, but then their understanding of product, of the way how software is usually created, this is really, really valuable. So I wouldn't say it is an evolution, because it's not like every marketer would need to become a product marketer at some point. I really wouldn't say so. To me, it's more like a specialization, and I can also see that marketing moves towards highly specialized roles. It is quite rare that a person is really a marketing generalist, maybe in very small companies.
Yeah, and the resource you give before may help people, I think. Also for people, just so people knows, at the beginning we had a physical event, so we buy the book you show us right before, and so we will offer this book during the next physical event. So if people are really interested into this book, you should come to the next physical event. I don't know when it will be, but one day I hope so, soon. We have a related question from the first question, so I just jump back on it. Aldo, sorry, just say, but with a piece of art, what I solve as problem? It was about selling painting.
Well, that's a good one. Well,
Eco
why people
problem, maybe.
because they need aesthetics in their lives. They need to cheer up sometimes, or just they like to be around art. I think it can be kind of a problem. Like right now, I'm making it up, but we have pandemic. We are spending more and more time at homes. So we like to maybe now people tend to buy more beautiful things just for the sake of being around the beautiful things at home.
It makes sense. Yeah, obviously. Hope it answers Aldo. The next one, may you share a typical week at work, or can you tell us if part of your job can be automated? Is that repetitive or has low value for customers, maybe some parts?
I would say there's no typical week, but I think many people from the startup world can say the same thing. So, for example, let's say I know that in a month there will be a big feature released. So my work require actually talking to a lot of people, to working with a product manager, with customer support, with sales, with everyone, with designers, with everyone who has who also works on this release. So because what is actually not very good in this role is that if marketers are surprised, it's like tomorrow we are going to release the new feature, just tell people about that. And this is not an ideal situation, of course.
Yeah.
And ideally, and I mean that's how I do it at work, is weeks before I gather information. I know who is going to use it, how, when, what pain points does it going to solve, and then I'm writing positional statements and I'm planning marketing activities, and things like that. So especially if there is a new launch coming, usually I'm super focused on that. So for a few days, I'm working only on this launch.
Okay.
But because I work in a startup, we are a small team. I also create quite a lot of content. I am responsible for social media. So I would say my typical week is sometimes more about marketing and sometimes more about product marketing.
Yeah. Okay. I hope it answers Guillaume. Anyways, feel free to ask any complementary question, Guillaume, on the chat.
And maybe just to add, because there is a second part of the question about what can be automated. I would say maybe not much can be automated, but it is good to have processes. So, for example,
Scheduled.
Exactly, schedules, and usually launches are quite similar to each other. So, if you have a good process for what should be in what should happen during each launch, what should be planned before and also after, like gathering feedbacks, things like that. A clear plan is very helpful.
Okay, thank you. I have a question about product launches. You say they need to be prioritized. How to know which are more important than others? What do you mean by more attentions?
Sure. So here again, I need to stress how important it is to cooperate with other teams, because sometimes marketers, when they hear that we are going to release a feature X, what marketers need to know is like, what difference is it going to make? Does it have is there a possibility that it will bring more users, or is it going to only affect the existing users? So usually if the launch can bring more users or that has a massive impact, it is the top priority launch that deserves a lot of attention. And here, the more attention, I would see like literally to be everywhere on social media, newsletter, webinar, product hunt, launch, things like that. But sometimes there's just a tiny change in the UI that most people may not even notice. That's a very small one, and it doesn't deserve a special newsletter, of course.
On the work, yeah. Still about product launches, what do you do when it's a total mess or failure, something broken?
So I don't remember it happened. The idea is to not let it happen. Well, honestly, sometimes the marketing launch doesn't have to start immediately after the release. It doesn't. Sometimes it's better to release, give it a week that people test, share feedback, find some bugs, and once the release is improved, then the marketing launch can come.
Okay, yeah, soft launch, so something like that.
Exactly. That's a good word. Yes, that's
Yeah.
especially if you expect that there may be issues, there may be bugs. It's better to just to have soft launch, or even not at all. Just wait, give it a few days, and then do it.
Yeah. You mentioned Stack Overflow in your slides as a product marketing tools. How do you use it? And is that really effective to use Stack Overflow?
So personally, I don't really use it. But so that's what I need to say. But there are two things. So basically, people on Stack Overflow ask questions. So if you know answers to these questions, you can jump in, and you can mention even that your tool can help. Or especially if this is I'm not a developer, so I'm making it up a bit, but I can imagine that you have a tool that you're using that supports fixing bugs or finding bugs. So if someone asks about that, especially someone who is maybe junior, who is just learning, you can answer this question and mention that this tool can help. Honestly, I don't know how strong moderation is, but I can imagine.
Don't like.
Yeah, but still, I think if you really give value, help, explain, and just mention your product, maybe without being pushy, without links.
Yeah,
I think it can
maybe
work.
it works. Okay, that was the idea.
Yeah, but also there are Stack Overflow ads. You can basically just pay Stack Overflow for displaying ads. This is also something that can be done. But this usually requires big budgets. It is not for small startups, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay. Could you tell us briefly how you acquired in your professional life the 3 skills we saw in one of the first slides? Maybe we can just show you slides again, and we can find those slides. If you can jump back to your slides, if it's possible.
Oh, yes, of course.
We'll try to find the one mentioned by
this one, or
Emeric. One of the first slides. The 3 skills we saw. I'm not sure which slide. Maybe Emeric may help us, giving us the slide's number. Oh, if we show it on the screen. I'm not sure this is the 3 circles. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. Perfect. So how you acquired those skills?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I understand the question, because the circles, they are more about different teams. What I mean is the product marketing is here, but it has to cooperate with product sales and marketing. It doesn't mean that product marketer needs all the product sales and marketing skills.
Okay, yeah. Those are not skills, are teams, and you have to communicate with all of them.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I think it's answered the question. Just tell us, Emeric, if it does not, but there is a misleading. It was not skills, but teams.
Okay.
Great. I have some questions for you. So let's say we're in a tech company. How do you enable a good communication between sales and developers? Do you have any tips to avoid frictions or to avoid conflicts?
Well,
that's a tough question.
Yeah, that's a tough question, of course. Honestly, I think the most important is that each team really understand the value of the other one. So, for example, I know that quite a lot of developers, quite a lot of them are not used to working with marketing. So they may be surprised that there is a marketing person asking questions, asking them to write content or engage on social media. At the beginning, they may find it weird. But I've noticed that the more both teams work together, the better. And quite often, especially in tech companies, sales, quite often they need help from developers, especially if they are talking to other developers. And salespeople, they don't necessarily have all the tech skills. So if two work together, if the skills are complementary, it's an outstanding teamwork. So I think it's more like asking for help, saying thank you very often, basic stuff. Just showing how people appreciate each other's help, and I think that's it.
Yeah, we have some complementary information about this slide from the previous question. The question was, if you have to sit in the middle of the circles, how do you understand all the specs, all the specific vocabularies from those teams? How do you acquire? How do you learn about to communicate with all those teams? I think that was the idea of the question.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Enric. But I think that was the idea. How do you learn? Yeah.
Yeah. So I still think you don't need to learn everything. It's more like you have to be curious about what others say, listen to them, and maybe I think it also comes naturally. The more you work with other teams, the more you learn. You learn the wording they use because it's a tough one. But yes, I think it's not like you have to learn everything for sure.
Yeah.
You don't.
That's the point.
You have to ask the right questions. You have to listen to other teams, and maybe not be like, hey, I'm marketing, I'm not interested in sales, or like, I work in sales, I'm not interested in marketing. That's not a good thing. It's good to listen to each other and be interesting, but not necessarily to have all the same skills, because that's impossible.
Yeah. And one thing I may add is just say that when you don't know, when you don't understand, tell to people, I don't understand. May you rephrase, may you just explain me. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know, I don't understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a question for you, connected with one of the first one. You do a big launch and it fails. There is no traction from the clients. What do you do?
Well, I send a survey. I try to get them on interviews. I try to do everything to understand. Is it because that's the question. If it is just the marketing launch that failed, or maybe it is just that the feature doesn't answer the needs of the
I
potential
think it's
client.
the features in this context.
So,
I think.
I mean, it can be both, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say it's most likely the positioning problem, or like a complete misunderstanding between the product and the target audience. So yeah, what do? I try to talk to customers. Surveys, interviews, it's not easy. So what is also quite important here is to build a community around your product, to have users that are, if you ask them question, they are more likely to answer. And if you have such a community, it's easier.
Okay, thanks. We have two questions, and then we'll be over with questions and the interview. Do you have any other resource, books or talks that you did not mention during the talk or in your slides with many resources?
So maybe can I could you show my slides again?
Yeah,
obviously. I'll just move to this one. So when it comes to the books, I would say those four are more or less all we have. About online courses, also, I really highly recommend the Product Marketing Alliance and CXL. Both are very good resources. But about product online communities, there are actually more. There are also a lot of podcasts. If you just search on Spotify or whatever other tool you use for podcast, if you if you search product marketing, you will find a lot. Also, there are companies or products that have product marketers as their target audience. For example, the app queues that I've mentioned earlier, they have tons of very useful resources, and they even started certification courses for free. There's also Clue, another company that advertises to product marketers. Usually there are companies that offer product onboarding stuff or things like that. So yes, AppQues and Clue, if you Google, you will find a lot of good resources.
Okay, thank you.
We have new all the time.
We have one question from Gilles, just asked right now. So sales usually say they are the closest to the user and customer, and now product marketing says the same, and so designer, and so customer support say the same. So who is right?
I think ideally everyone.
Because
Because
closest.
the closest. Oh, I'm pretty sure it depends on the product, because some companies are more sales oriented, then sales may be the closest. Others are marketing oriented, where let's say there are more marketers than salespeople, more budget on marketings, like that. Other companies are product oriented. They may not even hire salespeople and hire one marketing person, and everything is done through the product itself and the community built around that. So hard to say, but yeah, I would say ideally everyone should be close to customers.
Okay, thanks. The last question for tonight. Do you think it's not a marketing question? So it's from for the chat asking if you can add this question. So I said I will ask to you. Do you think it's possible to apply from a company in Switzerland from Afghanistan? For example, Iran. Do you have in your company maybe people applying outside of Switzerland and then coming in Switzerland working?
Yeah, so I don't have a company. As far as I know, it is much more difficult than if you are from European Union or Switzerland. Probably not impossible, but probably it's better to apply to big companies, maybe like Google, these ones, because for their HR departments maybe it's easier. But for small startups, it's usually not very easy. But yeah, I'm not an expert here. I use
Obviously, that was just a question. I'm pretty sure it will help the person asking this question. So yeah, thank you for your answer. Well, I think the interview is now over. I will terminate this Webmardi. Thank you, Monika, again for your talk. Thank you for all the answers you give us tonight. Thank you again. And yeah, I will close this Webmardi. See ya. Oh, sorry, I cut you. Sorry. So let's finish this Webmardi to announce the next one. So the next one will be about how to re-engage dissatisfied customer. So this is it's kind of follow-up of this talk, because we talk a lot about what happened when product launch fails, for example, or customer not really happy. So I think it may interest the same people as tonight. It may also interest a lot more people. So if you know people from marketing, designer, developers, and you, that's really important. Just tell them that in the 1st of February, we will have a talk online again because of COVID by Yannick Brideau. It will be about how to re-engage dissatisfied customer. It will be in English, and I hope to see you, all of you, on more to this talk. It will be also available, obviously, on YouTube after talk. Again, please follow us on Instagram. When we have physical events, we post all our photos of events. And when we don't have physical events, we have few photos, but we still post our throwback, who are inspiring quote from our speakers. So yeah, just follow us. Thank you very much for following us on Instagram and giving us a lot of love. And still, don't forget to follow us on Webmardi on YouTube. It helps us a lot to have more visibility. And yeah, don't forget to add a like on the video, comment on the video if you have the opportunity to. And yeah, I think it's all for me. Thank you, all of you, for attending tonight. Thank you, Monika, again for this awesome talk, and hope to see you, all of you, the 1st of February for another awesome talk about our delightful customer. Thank you, people, and see you soon. Bye-bye.